And hello everybody, welcome back to RFC News. We do have our first bit of big transfer news for you today, as Rangers have agreed their first deal of the January transfer window ahead of a signing blitz. We know that there is going to be a lot of incomings and potentially outgoings this January transfer window as Rangers look to try and secure this league title. Now, we've had a laugh and a joke over the last couple of days in the fallout of the Old Firm victory against Celtic, and rightfully so. They've gave it to us a lot, so it was quite good to see their misery. However, they have got their ducks in order, so to speak. I don't think Martin O'Neill is necessarily the saviour that they believe, and for those of you old enough, you'll know how a lot of his seasons at Celtic ended back in the early noughties, so this is a great chance to get another one-up on them. Again, for Wilfred Nancy, as I said in yesterday's live stream, gonna miss that guy, gonna miss him, as the saying goes. Don't cry that it's ended, smile that it happened. And that's the sort of mantra we're going to have. And if we go on to win this league title, we may as well roll out Wilfred Nancy to do a halftime draw each season or something like that. Just in honour of him. But yeah, anyway, enough about them. Let's get into some transfer news, ladies and gentlemen. But as always, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. So, ladies and gentlemen, as stated, we have spoke a lot about potential incomings. Danny Rule gave us a decent incline as to how busy we are going to be. He said, negotiations are ongoing. However, there hasn't really been any names that have emerged, apart from the sort of ones that are before the sort of Christmas period. That's Josh Windass. I keep seeing Watt as well from Motherwell. But in terms of actual concrete links, I can't seem to find any from a Rangers perspective in incomings. However, that hasn't stopped us from agreeing our first deal of the January transfer window, and that's with regard to Oscar Cortez. Yes, Rangers have reportedly recalled him. Obviously, he was out on loan, I think, at Sporting Gijón. However, is set to be immediately shipped out on loan again. The wide man, as said, was sent out on loan to Spanish second-tier side Sporting Gijón last summer, just weeks after sealing his permanent switch to Rangers from Lens for £4 million. The Colombia international struggled for minutes with the Spanish-based side, and reports in Argentina now suggest it has been cut short, and he is now set to pen a one-year loan with Club Atlético Huracán, which includes the option to make the deal permanent. And again, if you were seeing it from sort of Argentinian, Colombian sources now here on X with regard to him, but Oscar Cortez is on his way out, and that would be Rangers' sort of first deal of the window having been agreed. Now, from the perspective of Oscar, it's been a nightmare, really, hasn't it? If you look at the way that it's played out, certainly when he came in initially on that loan period, he looked good. However, we had an obligation to buy him that summer for £4 million. And it's ironic how it worked out. We paid Lens £4 million. They ended up buying Sema for £4 million or £5 million to replace him. So yeah, we already had the option, but again, it just sums up our recruitment strategy over the last few years, and again, it's just not worked out. I think he's shown glimpses, but certainly in a Rangers jersey, he's just doesn't stay fit. And the best thing we can personally do now is just try and get as much money as we possibly can for this player. Now, as stated, we paid £4 million for him. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near enough of that back. As stated, he's going on loan with the option to buy him. He's still young, but in terms of a fee, should Club Atlético Huracán want to buy him, that hasn't been sort of made publicly available. However, he is going to be going to Pastas New, and he's going to be going 7,000 miles away to Argentina.
In other news, Rangers have yet to truly ignite their January transfer business, but on the pitch, Danny Role has already provided a timely spark. Saturday's emphatic 3-1 victory over Celtic has sent momentum surging through the club, lifting Rangers to joint second in the Scottish Premiership and cutting the gap to leaders' Hearts to just 6 points. It was another statement result under Roll, who has quickly transformed belief and intensity within the squad. However, despite the upturn in form, the message behind the scenes remains consistent. Reinforcements are still required if Rangers are to sustain a genuine title push. Roll has already acknowledged that he is extracting results from a group that is not yet where it needs to be, describing the squad as below par earlier in the season. Now, with momentum firmly established, attention is turning back towards recruitment and whether the club hierarchy can back that progress before the window closes. One name emerging in recent days is Emil Bohinen. The Norwegian midfielder is currently on loan at Venezia from Genoa, but his future in Italy appears uncertain. According to Tutto Mercato Web, Rangers have made their approach for Bohinen, with another loan move before the 2nd of February deadline firmly on the table. The report adds that the player is expected to decide his next step within days, potentially clearing the way for a quick resolution. Midfield may not appear an immediate priority given current form. Connor Barron has thrived under Roll, while Nicholas Raskin continues to offer control and intensity, with Mohamed Diomande providing depth when called upon. However, the wider picture suggests movement is coming. Joe Rothwell looks increasingly likely to depart, while fellow Arsgaard and Lyle Cameron have struggled for consistent opportunities. Cameron, in particular, could benefit from a loan spell to secure valuable minutes ahead of next season. In that context, Bohinen profiles as a sensible short-term solution, an experienced option who could bolster depth without disrupting the balance Roll has built. A temporary addition would also align with Rangers' need for flexibility as they reshape the squad. For now, focus turns to today's trip to Aberdeen. No new faces are expected before then, but the timing could prove significant. With Hearts and Celtic not in action midweek, another 3 points would further amplify the pressure at the top and strengthen Rangers' hand heading into the latter stages of the window. Roll has already delivered results. The next step is whether the club responds in kind. Ultimately, Rangers find themselves at a familiar crossroads. Momentum has been generated on the pitch, belief has been restored, and the league table is beginning to reflect the impact of Roll's work. The challenge now is ensuring that progress is not allowed to stall through inaction. A positive result in Aberdeen would further reinforce the sense that something is building, placing additional emphasis on the importance of the coming weeks. With the title race tightening and opportunities emerging elsewhere in the squad, decisions made before the window closes could define the remainder of the season. Roll has shown what he can achieve with what he has. Whether Rangers can turn this resurgence into something more lasting will depend on whether that momentum is matched with meaningful support in the market. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We post all the latest Rangers news every single day, so join our fast growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.